Okay, welcome back to another lab video. In this one we're continuing from our EtherChannel and hopefully be configuring DHCP server on our multi-layer switch to cater for our VLANs. So let's get stuck into it. So we have the usual starting configs and that left over from last set of labs. So first thing you want to do when you set up your server is to exclude the addresses that you've manually assigned. So IP, DHCP, excluded address, and we'll set this up for the 30 network. So we've got one, which is the gateway, and we'll say we'll exclude running on autopilot here, first 5. Alright, so that's the gateway and any servers or printers or whatever we have there. Next we create our pool. So it's DHCP pool and the name of the pool. So we're going to say VLAN 30. Clients. Yeah. Alright. Next we define the network, which is 192.168.30.0, and the subnet mask that goes with this network is a /24. And what domain name are we running? I believe it's teach Cisco .com, and our default router, so our default gateway from the PC perspective is our 30.1, and you can specify the lease, and have I not? Whoa. Doesn't have a lease option. Well, that's a little different. You have a lease option on the routers. Let's have a look under the option. It's just going to give you your codes. And off the top of my head, I can't remember the code for lease. Alright, so it'll default to the default lease times, which will be 1 day. So that's about it. So if we do a show IP DHCP, and we want the pool, the snooping, so, and then it'll be so there it is. And let's see if it issues any. How do we know if it's going to issue any? Well, we're going to do something a little strange and add a new PC in. And this PC is going to connect to our switch here on port 15, which is DHCP. So if we look in our configuration, we have it flickered across to automatic. Now it's timed out. Flick it, we've got a green light now, flick it back across. And we have a 30 address assigned. So we have an IP address, subnet mask, default gateway. Isn't that lovely? So if we come in here and do an IP config /all, and look at that. There's our domain suffix, IP address, gateway. All the things that we expect to see. And let's ping there's our gateway. So drag this one down to there, and this is VLAN 30, and our address is via DHCP. So there you have it. That's as hard as it is. Now, how do we go about doing it for the others? Just rinse and repeat. So if we come up here and do this now, we'll see that whereas before we had 0 leases, now we've joined a PC, it's got 1 lease. Okay, so our pool is definitely working. Now, you can have a helper pointing across the link, and or what you do is command IP helper and the address that you want to point it towards. That's as complex as DHCP basically is. Now, the other little bit of trickery is just putting the helper address in, and if you're doing voice, putting in the extra options for your voice TFTP server and that for your phones. But that's about the size of it for DHCP version 4. So that's the one for IPv4. As you can see, it's the smoothest config lab I've done. Everything works straight away. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for joining.